2024. A dream season for a tornado chaser. But a nightmare for the residents of the Great Plains. Dreams are an important part of life. They're what allow us to set our goals and pursue happiness. It's no different for a storm chaser. Storm chasers dream of that amazing tornado intercept, of open roads and freedom on the Great Plains. But especially, we dream of that dream storm chasing season. A season that seems to produce a tornado every time we go out on a storm chase. 2024 was that year for storm chasers. Every year I put out my top storm chases, an annual video capturing my adventures for the year. Usually that video contains hurricane chases and blizzard chases, along with chasing supercells and tornadoes. Maybe even some flooding and monsoon storm chases mixed in there as well. But 2024 was such an amazing storm chasing year for tornadoes that I've dedicated this year's video entirely to all of my top tornado chases for 2024. We start off on April 16th in Iowa. It was a tough day of storm chasing, bouncing from one storm to the next, working my way south from one storm to the next storm, looking for that tornado. This was actually my first chase of the season that I had the Starlink attached to Lolcar.
In the Home Depot parking lot for chasing tornadoes and live streaming to the world. Bolted down. Doesn't even budge.
To the keen-eyed storm chaser, the storms did not look good on this day. But a good storm chaser knows when to fold them and when to hold them. And I knew that later on in the day, things would look a little bit better further to the east, so I kept on the storms. Finally, near Houghton, Iowa on this day, I watched a large wedge tornado form from an elevated position east of the town, become wrapped in rain, and brush right past me before causing damage to homes in Iowa.
This farm just got hit by a massive wedge tornado. Barn in progress. Destroyed. Debris across the road. Wedge tornado wrapped in this rain right here. Massive wedge tornado headed towards New London, Iowa right now.
The next chase takes us all the way up to Canada near Brandon, Manitoba, where an early season storm came through that area. Usually I'm not seeing tornadoes in Manitoba until late July or into August, but this was an early June storm chase in Canada for me. This day wasn't even forecast to be a big tornado day, but I knew storms were possible, so I paid attention to radar, saw some storms develop, and made an hour drive north from home.
Tornado warning storm here in Manitoba approaching Rapid City. Manitoba is the base of it out here. So watching this other cell going up here to its south. These two will likely merge here and a little bit off to the southeast. Severe thunderstorm watch in effect here in Manitoba. Multiple tornado warnings. This storm warned. And a couple more back behind it.
The storm was tornado warned, but it didn't look that good. It did look good on radar though, but then, much to my surprise a few moments later, things started looking very interesting.
Tornado in progress, Rapid City, Manitoba.
Supercell formed and moved right towards my location just to the northwest of Brandon, Manitoba, wrapping around a collar cloud until a beautiful funnel descended down to the ground and produced a couple of brief tornadoes before completely dissipating. Next, we head back down to the States, into the Flint Hills region of Kansas. Now, this was actually my first storm and tornado chase of 2024 in early March. In Kansas, a beautiful storm formed, big, massive base, and then a tornado formed right before dark. Now, this was a day where years of experience storm chasing really paid off. It was a complex evolution of a storm. One updraft moved off to the north, and I watched several storm chasers chase after it. But I could see something else happening to my south. I could see rain curtains wrapping around the big, huge base of this supercell. And I knew that this was going to be the dominant storm of the day. So I held my ground and watched as a supercell formed and eventually produced a tornado.
Tornado in progress! It's on the ground, guys! It's kicking up dirt! Tornado! Big bull funnel crossing the road! Debris! Big funnel cloud! Monster storm! Monster storm! Beautiful funnel cloud! Hold on, guys. There it is. Funnel cloud. Just crossed the road. It's gonna touch down again.
You hear all that yelling? That's what a storm chaser does when they see their first tornado of the year, after a long, cold winter. The tornado was lit up by lightning as dark began to fall. Beautiful to a storm chaser, but a nightmare if you're in its path. I continued to chase the storm into the darkness before finally having to give up on the chase due to visibility issues from strong rains wrapping around this monster storm.
Big RFD!
Late in August, a late season tornado setup occurred just to the south of Bismarck, North Dakota, across the state line into South Dakota. A supercell stalled out over the Missouri River before moving off the river, coming to our location, and producing multiple tornadoes, deviant tornadoes. In fact, the tornado at one point looped back towards our location, and we had to throw it in reverse in the car to get out of there and make sure we didn't get hit by that tornado. August 28th was one of the more obvious good tornado setups of the year, and it came late in the season. Coming from Manitoba, Canada, it was a nice, close drive for a storm chase, and resulted in amazing beauty of tornadoes and supercells. This was one of those chases that really test your patience, as the storm sat to the west of the Missouri River.
Right on the edge of the Missouri River. Oh.
With very few crossings, we decided we would wait east of the river and let the storm eventually come to us.
Our key surging around here, rotating right here. Looking for a tornado to form right here, guys. Right to left here, and then right here we've got left to right, and we've got rotation right here. Tornado trying to form right in here right now. Rain way out there.
Finally, a supercell broke free of the river valley and moved over the road right in front of us, producing amazing tornadoes.
Another funnel over here. There it is. Let's try it. Let's get closer. Oh yeah, it's scrolling on the ground. Tornado on the ground right there. Tornado in progress right here in front of us. Big funnel cloud.
Situational awareness and instinct are arguably the most important things to have as a storm chaser when you're in the field. It was at this moment that I noticed the tornado was chasing us.
Monster tornado here in South Dakota, just across the river. Across this road around, we had to throw it in reverse to get out of
Throwing it in reverse, we got Lal, car, and ourselves out of there as the tornado sucked my sunglasses out the window. I still plan to go try and find those sunglasses.
It's still really cranking there right now, back behind us.
We got out of the path, stopped, and watched the tornado dance in the fields of South Dakota before continuing to pursue the tornado. We chased this supercell till sunset, watching it produce multiple tornadoes from close range. It looked like it was going to wind up for another show after dark, but with deviant tornadoes and it being dark, we decided it was time to head home. I almost didn't include this next chase in the video. It happened in May in Iowa, and I decided I had to include this chase. It was the day that produced the strongest tornado of the year. Now, there's no video of me in the studio talking to you guys about it, so you're just gonna have to listen to my voice talk about this chase day. Now, the reason I almost didn't include this video is I kind of botched this day up, but actually, it was one of the best forecasts I ever made storm chasing. I was so perfect in my forecast that I found myself right underneath the storms. Now, I knew this day was going to produce fast-moving storms, so I had to stay out ahead of the storms. The problem was, I was driving my new Toyota Tundra because I planned to pick up my boat in Indiana the next day. And it was because of this what happened next.
Charlie storm here in southwestern Iowa. Big lowering in there.
I was afraid of getting hail damage to this truck, just like my Lal car. So I was trying to stay out ahead of the storm.
Big tornado! Southwestern Iowa! I gotta move!
And then, suddenly, as I was being chased by the tornado, I had to make a decision. Do I go left to stay with the tornado? Do I go right to get out of the path of this tornado? Or do I try to go east and keep up with the tornado at the same time staying out of the path? Well, I decided to go east, and that was a big mistake. I nearly got hit by the tornado. Luckily, it just missed me, but then I became stuck in the mud. As I watched the Villisca, Iowa tornado brush right past me, I was trying to get out of the mud and then could see what was arguably the strongest tornado of the year. The Greenfield, Iowa tornado began to form off to my east, but my chase was done as I couldn't get out of the mud. The tornado I did see that day was actually one of the first and the second strongest tornado of the day, the EF3 Villisca tornado. It nearly hit me, then caused damage in Villisca before continuing on to the northeast. But what happened later is devastating to the town of Greenfield as an EF4 tornado destroyed many homes and businesses there. Westmoreland, Kansas on April 30th, 2024 is where I experienced my most amazing storm chase of my career. It's hard to put it at number 2 at being the most amazing storm chase of my career, but you'll understand why when we get to the next storm chase. That Westmoreland, Kansas tornado was the scariest tornado I've ever chased, not because of what I saw, but what I heard. The sucking sounds that this tornado made were the spookiest thing. Hair raised on my neck. I had to fight the fear to stay in position to get the most amazing footage of a tornado that I've ever captured.
What is this town?
What's the name of this town? Westmoreland. Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, Westmoreland. This should be tornado warning. Big funnel cloud here just to the west of Westmoreland.
Finding myself back in the Flint Hills of Kansas. I chose this target on this day as a secondary target. The main target that most chasers were targeting was Iowa. But I decided that I wanted to do something a little different, try to be alone out there and maybe see something that nobody else sees. So I chased a setup in eastern Kansas.
Big tornado, Westmoreland, Kansas. Oh, big debris. Big debris cloud. Incredible tornado. Look at it, look up. Look at that occlusion.
I ended up finding myself in the little town of Westmoreland, Kansas.
Oh my gosh. Look at this tornado. Oh man.
A supercell had formed off to the west. It looked good on radar, and then started looking incredible in person right as I came into town. This storm wasn't tornado warned at first. A funnel began to descend down to the ground. Finally, the sirens were initiated, a tornado warning was issued, and the next 15 minutes were the most incredible 15 minutes of my storm chasing career. As a rope tornado moved through the town of Westmoreland, it created sounds like nothing I've ever heard before and may never hear again.
It's violent, guys.
Finally, the most insane chase day of my career occurred on April 26, 2024, where an outbreak of tornadoes occurred in Nebraska and Iowa, where I saw nearly a dozen tornadoes and nearly 24 tornadoes were on the ground across Nebraska and Iowa. This major tornado outbreak kicked off to the west of Lincoln, Nebraska. I ended up intercepting the first tornado of the day on Interstate I-80 just outside of Lincoln, Nebraska.
Tornado in progress here, approaching I-29. Funnel cloud overhead, crossing I-29, red funnel cloud right overhead. Wind tornado. Oh my God, they're okay. This house just got hit, massive wedge tornado. You guys are up, there's no one else?
Sometimes you have a season where you only see maybe 1 or 2 tornadoes, or maybe none at all, depending on how much you've chased. Other seasons are average where you see a few tornadoes during the storm chase season. And then there's 2024. 2024 set the bar for what an amazing storm chasing season can be. A storm season which makes it seem like every single storm is going to produce a tornado, and it nearly did. If you're new to the channel, I hope you've subscribed, you've enjoyed this video, and you're ready to come along on the ride in 2025 for a whole new year of adventure. For all the members that have supported the channel over the years, I cannot thank you enough for all that support. Couldn't do it without you, and I love having you guys riding along with me in the passenger seat. I couldn't do it without you guys. See you next year in 2025. Later.